Yes, and welcome back to the Football Terrace. Hope you're all doing wonderfully well. Please make sure you're smashing them like buttons. Us independent channels and content creators really do need your support, and just hitting that like button, sharing this stream on your social media platforms helps us massively. We're here to talk a number of transfers again that are circulating. One that is picking up pace, and that is Willian from Chelsea to Arsenal. It'll be a free transfer. It'll be a big contract if he signs for the Gunners. But most Arsenal fans out there seem very infused by this deal. It does appear, with being dropped from the FA Cup final team, this is closing in on being completed. We'll give you a brief Jadon Sancho update during this stream as well. We're also going to be looking at Liverpool. We, of course, had a big exclusive interview for you this morning that went out at 9 o'clock. Go check that out. Matip leaving, potentially Koulibaly coming in. This deal, I actually had a Liverpool fan come to me and say, no way that happening. Within an hour, he sent me a betting slip. He's put £200 on Koulibaly to come in because he has been informed by the agent of Granit Xhaka that's very close to Koulibaly that deal could be happening as well. So make sure you go check that video out after this one. But also look at another story involving Mandi. I think it's pronounced Mandi, the Algerian right back who plays for Real Betis, being linked to Liverpool. A lot of Liverpool fans want some cover in those positions as well. Of course, we are going to take your calls via Skype. Also go through as many of your comments as possible, but make sure, as I say, 500 people watching you live right this second. Just need you guys to hit that. Button for us, that like button as an example, and see what is being said, and we can go from there. Just hit that like button, and we'll delve into it. Let's talk Willian and Arsenal for a few moments here, first of all, because that's the big deal that's circulating this morning, and I think it's one that's well worth talking about. There's no doubts about that whatsoever. Arsenal fans, I want to ask you this question. How enthused are you by this move? Because for me personally, I think Willian is so underrated and disrespected by Chelsea supporters. Unbelievably so. I really, really do. I think more to his game than people like to give him credit for. There's no doubt about that at all in my mind. So, I want to hear from you. We've actually got Benjamin Thompson on the line here. Benjamin, who do you support?
Arsenal.
You're an Arsenal fan, Benjamin. What do you make of Willian to the Emirates this summer? What would be this land?
Willian's a good player. I know he's old. He brings leadership, but I don't know why we're after him.
Why? What don't you get about the deal?
I don't know why we're after a 31 or 32-year-old.
But why? What I mean is, why would you not want to sign someone as good as him, even though he's 31? What would be the problem with it?
Because we've got youngsters like Martinelli, Saka, Nelson on the wings. Stop them progressing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, who's that speaking?
Me, Adam Richards.
Adam Richards, do you think it's a good deal from an Arsenal point of view or not?
Nah, it's a terrible deal. Why would you get someone that's 32? He's not even that good. Calm down. He just scores penalties. True.
TD Shifts is on here. TD Shifts, what are you saying?
Can you hear me, Terry?
Yep, what are you saying?
Okay. Well, on one hand, I can see their point and say that he's past his best and he's 32 and he's not really going to offer anything because he's kind of aging. Then on another hand, I can sort of see that he can be backup for Pepe in terms of he's someone lethal that you can bring off the bench in terms of to change a game. Then on the other hand, I can kind of see that he's not really who we really need right now. We kind of need to fix our defense and our midfield first before we start worrying about wingers, because we got the guy mentioned, we've got Reece Nelson, we've got Saka, we've got Martinelli who can also play there, we've got Aubameyang who can play there, we've also got Pepe as well. So I mean, we got a lot of wingers as well, and Emil Smith-Rowe also coming back, who can also play there as well. So, yeah, so like we've got depth there, but I can see different points of views. But if it happens, there's not really much we can do about it, and just sort of hope he turns his career around and works out.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand that. I understand the Willian move, and I know there's a lot of youngsters coming through. The problem that Arsenal have, it's experience in those attacking areas, experience in those moments. And yes, you've got a number of youngsters that can play in those positions, but outside of Martinelli, Pepe, and Saka, for me, there isn't an abundance of quality within that. I'm not a big fan of the Nelsons and Willocks of this world, etc. I think they're good, but they're no better than that. They will be moved on and play less and less football over the next couple of years. But I understand the move. I suppose the only concern I would have as an art is the amount of money that Willian will demand. Willian will come in on. I've read somewhere that it's going to be pretty big money, sort of 200 odd grand a week. Is that also a worry in terms of upsetting the apple cart in relation to other players' pay? And could this also mean that Aubameyang's not going to sign a new deal?
But well, for me, I think he's already signed the contract, Terry. I think
Aubameyang.
Yeah, I think he's already signed the contract. Personally, for me,
bro.
Mate, if he signed that contract, they'd announce it. If he signed it, like actually signed it, would they not just announce it?
Straight away.
Yeah, straight away.
Well, I mean, it's a process. I think they're still hashing out the last bit of the details, and I think that it will happen within this week. So I heard a lot of rumors and a lot of talk through reliable sources that it's going to get done this week. So, and also, you guys still got to remember that we're looking at Joseph Fernandez as well. So, personally, for me, like where I stand, I'm kind of mixed. I'm mixed emotions. So, but as I said, there are pro points to it and there are negatives, but I mean it's like ultimately there's not really much I can say if Arsenal go ahead of it. We're just going to have to back the process and hopefully Aubameyang still stays and we get some other signings into sort of like improve the squad in other areas as well.
Yeah, look, I understand it. I think the Aubameyang deal, I know a lot of people are saying that I'm still unconvinced. He may sign. I'm still unconvinced as to whether or not he's going to stay. And the reason I say that is because we're very close at the start of the new season. And if he had decided, I don't think winning the FA Cup, I don't think would have been a deciding factor for Aubameyang because
Not his level.
Yeah, like, and I don't even mean it rudely. I just don't see it as being a deciding factor. They still may keep him. I think, without sounding harsh, and I know Arsenal fans will get upset about this because everybody's too emotional. I think Aubameyang stays if the right club doesn't come in for him, in the sense of if it isn't somewhere that he's desperate to go. So if it isn't a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or a team where he feels he can achieve more, he'll stay. Did you get where I'm coming from? If AC Milan come in for him, I think he'll say no. I think if Inter Milan, he'll say no. I think it has to be one of 4 or 5 clubs that offer him something, as an example. But then he'll only stay via default. And maybe that's the whole point of going after Willian. Maybe you realize he's going to go. And if you take him out, how much experience do you really have up there then? Suddenly you take Aubameyang out of Arsenal's attack, and suddenly it becomes very, very lightweight. And maybe Willian isn't the guy, but maybe it's about having some experience while Martinelli and Saka are developed through.
I actually think selling Aubameyang might be good for us.
A few Gooners have said that. We have a gal that's been on the show regularly who has said the same thing. We've just we'll have 1 more minute talking about this deal. We just added Kai to the call. Kai, how you doing, mate?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. What do you make of? Obviously, you're a Chelsea fan. What do you make of Willian to Arsenal? Is that good business from the Gooners?
Let me tell you something, Terry. I like Willian, but he doesn't fit what Chelsea are trying to build at all. The guy has been at Chelsea for 7 years, and he has 37 goals. 37 goals in 7 years. That's not an attacking player's numbers that you want to have at a big club. Willian is a good creator. He's a good creator, but I think he will fit Arsenal more than he does fit Chelsea because they have that Aubameyang, like the kind of an advanced forward who always looking into pockets of space. So he will fit them more than what we're trying to do. But as far as I agree with Chelsea not giving him 3 years contract because he's already kind of declining.
Mate, but that's a bit disrespectful. Like, as a Chelsea fan, you've been watching this guy for 7 years. He's been giving 100% or 110% every game he plays in. Now to
That's
talk
good.
about him like
That's-
the way you're doing, like sending
No,
him over to Arsenal. Like, if I was a
Listen
Liverpool
what-
fan, if they told me I'm sending a
agree.
player,
Listen to what I said. Listen to what I said. I said he was a good servant. I said he was a good player. I said that I like him, but I said that he's not good enough for
Yeah.
Chelsea. He
No,
can
that's
give
true, he's
100%.
not. No, no,
He could give 100%, but if his 100% is not enough, then it's not enough.
I think Chelsea should keep him
he
for
got you
next
so
season.
much 3 points this season. He got so much this season for you. He won like
Because
12 points this season.
Yeah.
because we have no other option. We have not. If we had any other option, we wouldn't have used them.
Guys, I've just added Prime to the call. Prime, I mean, another Chelsea fan on here. What's your view on this?
I think Willian going to Arsenal would be a good signing for them.
Mm.
Like you said, brings them experience in areas where they don't have. They don't really have a winning experience in terms of winning the big trophies, and that's what Willian will bring. I think in terms of Chelsea, it'll be a big miss because when you look at Pulisic, as great as he is, he does have a bit of a injury record on him, and you also look at Callum Hudson-Odoi, he hasn't necessarily kicked on, and the start of next season is coming on quick.
But they have Havertz
We
coming in.
bought-
They have
Yeah,
Werner
yeah,
will
no,
play on the left.
we
All
do
better
have
players
Havertz.
than
We do have Havertz, but he's a central player. He likes to play as a number 10 or a number 8.
he can play on the wing. He
Okay.
played for Leverkusen before on the wing as well.
Yeah, he can play on the wing.
It wasn't too great.
He can play on the wing, but he plays. If he plays out wide, he plays on the right because he's left-footed.
And if
And
Willian
where does Willian play for us? He also plays.
Willian-
on the
back.
wing.
You have to.
And
Hudson-Odoi
might get
Willian.
game time as well.
Too slow for the week. Havertz is too slow.
Yes,
Yeah,
Ziyech
yeah.
plays on. Willian. Also, what people seem to forget is Willian's best position is when he plays as a number 10 or he comes in off the left. The reason why he plays on the right for Chelsea is because he plays as a more of a supportive winger, and he also does the hard work that people don't see. He does the defensive work that people don't see. That's why he was in the team for so long.
I disagree with you. His passing is not good enough to play as a number 10, which is why Chelsea
you
is playing
mean?
as a number 10.
His passing is because of as a number 10. The reason why Chelsea never played him as a number 10 is because we had the likes of Jose.
One, we don't use number 10.
Because with Jose we played a 4-2-3-1. The reason why he never played there is because Jose played Hazard on the left. Because Jose played Hazard on the left, and he gave Hazard the freedom, whereas he had Oscar and Willian who had to do the hard work to cover for Hazard when he wasn't in his correct defensive position.
So you would give Willian a 3-year deal.
Can I?
I'll give him a 2
Guys,
years.
one sec. Let
But
TD
he
have.
doesn't want a 2-year deal.
Guys,
Can I-
one second, guys. One second, guys. TD shift. What you saying, bro?
Look, sorry, I just wanted to interject here. I just want to say that during the FA Cup final, right? Willian would have been a great person to bring on instead of Pedro. I mean, Willian is like probably much better than Pedro in terms of like this,
He's much-
like better in terms of like his passing, his crossing, and
Okay,
I
go
like
on, Milo,
the amount of Chelsea fans that disrespect this guy, honestly, like
Who disrespected this guy?
No
Look
one's
at how-
disrespecting him.
No,
You
no,
are
dude,
disrespecting
no.
Willian,
In the last week alone, I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans that's been
You're
up on
talking
winning.
to idiots. That doesn't mean all of us. It's,
It makes no sense because arguably Willian is our player of the season.
yeah,
Take it
but he's-
easy.
Willian's not. No, he's not. Yeah,
100%.
There we go, guys. Listen, I appreciate all of you coming on, having your say. We're going to jump onto some more callers now. Thank you all very, very much, as always. Listen, I appreciate everybody's calls there. We've got David we're adding to the line here as well. We're going to bring David on in just a few moments, Chelsea fan. My view is this. I feel like Willian is disrespected. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves as a Premier League player from Chelsea fans. Equally, though, I think Gooners are talking him up like he's Messi at the moment. Because obviously they're linked with him and they want to make it sound better. We had a super chat here from Dell who says, I'm loving the new look, Terry. It goes well with your laugh. Willian is a great experienced player. We need squad depth. Drive those likes up, people. Thank you, everybody. We've added David to the call. David, what you saying, bro?
Willian's a good player, but that is like I don't know what else to say. Like he's a good player. He will contribute every now and then in big games, but that's all he is. Like he's not as crucial, I think, as people think he is, and especially now because he wants a 3-year deal. Chelsea and like a 3-year deal on a free transfer, he's going to be asking 200, 250 a week, and Chelsea just simply can't afford to do
that. Yeah, I mean, also with what you've got coming in, someone's got to go. I mean, I was reading an article yesterday. How true it is that you've got 7 or 8 players that you're putting up for sale. One of them maybe even being Kante, as an example. Now, I was sitting there thinking, if that's true, United have got to go out of the way to buy. I'm not sure who's got a really noisy background. I think yourself. Sorry, Stephen. I just have to mute you for a second there. It sounds like you're in a kitchen or something. It's very loud. You've got to stamp him up, and it's likely that you are going to have to sell 5 or 6 players if you're bringing in as many as you need. Like, although you're really rich, you can't just go out and spend 200, 300 million pound without letting anybody else go. Ram's on the line. Ram, we are going to talk to yourself and Stephen in a moment about the potential move for I don't know if it's pronounced Mandi or Mundi, depending on if you're saying English or French. We'll talk to you about that left back link, right back link with you in a minute. But in terms of Willian to Arsenal, is that good business in your opinion?
I think so. I think what Willian brings is his experience, but I wouldn't see him as a first team player. I see him more as a bit part player, someone to bring off the bench just to give that little bit of creativity if they're lacking something in the game. But yeah, I wouldn't expect him to be starting over Aubameyang or Lacazette or Pepe.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And what do you make of this move? Liverpool. I want to talk to you about Liverpool and the Matip Koulibaly situation in a few moments, but this link to this fullback, Real Betis fullback, Algerian guy. What's your thoughts on it? Good business if you can put it off for £8 million.
Is he a fullback? I thought he was a centre back.
I read an article about him today, and it said
he is a centre back. He's
a centre back, not a right back. Okay, well, I don't know where I read right back then.
I think he was thought to be the replacement for Dejan Lovren.
Okay. My view is I never even heard of the guy. I literally was reading a report about him, and I swear I read right back. I might have read that he's right-footed and just computed it wrong in my head. But okay, you're linked with him. What's your thoughts? Again, I don't know much about him at all. I know he's 28 years old and he plays for Real Betis. That's all I know.
Look, financially, he's going to be great. He costs about £9 million. We're getting £11 million for Dejan Lovren. I think he knows that he's not going to get ahead of Joe Gomez, or if Joe Matip does stay, he's not going to get past him. So if he's happy to be a 4th choice centre back and play in the cup games, and yeah, it'll just be good depth. It'll be a good depth. He's a solid player. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Just a good player.
Yeah, and I know you watched it this morning. You sent me a DM. What did you make of the? Hang on a second. Little update. I'll give the little update. Information has been released via Sky that said the talks between United and Dortmund are going very, very well. The deal is expected to be completed this week. I actually got a message from somebody that I've been in conversations with behind the scenes. We're organising an interview for once the deal is done. And because I've been trying to get an interview with this guy for ages, and he just said that he's really, really busy, but he's promised me we'll get something done when the deal is completed. And he messaged me earlier saying he's just heard from a reliable person that nearly everything is done with the Sancho deal. And I'm not sure what I'm more excited about, like Christmas or Sancho joining. I honestly think that the two things feel very, very similar. So that's happening. But what do you make of the Matip out, Koulibaly in situation?
Wait, you go ahead.
Go on, Stephen.
In terms of Koulibaly, the whole new thing about it, I was starting to think about it last night when this whole transfer thing started with the whole AC thing with this from the guy from Betis, and I thought to myself, if we've already sold Lovren and potentially hope not could sell Matip, if those two go, that only leaves us with two of Gomez and Van Dijk, and we've got no one else to cover as a centre back. Only Fabinho, who could play in that role, but for me, that's just not his natural position. I think we do need to sign a centre back, whether it could be Koulibaly or it could be the guy from Betis. And the only way we have to do that is for the club to pay the right amount of money so that it can be done as soon as possible. Because I do think we need cover in those areas for next year.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about the deal is you got 11 million in for Lovren, and you're looking to get a large. You're trying to get about 50 million.
That's exactly what I've been doing. I've just been counting up how much money
I think this is the point with that. I think that's the point with this deal. You're trying to get around 50 million pound in for Matip. Of course, you're going to shoot higher than you may end up getting. What you've got to remember is he's currently valued at 38 million pounds. People keep saying 50 million is unrealistic. You've got to remember, Liverpool are not selling Matip. Matip isn't looking to leave Liverpool because he's not happy there.
And I don't think he should, because I believe he can be as good as Gomez as well. I think
he can. But let me just get onto the point I was making, Stephen. So essentially, he's looking to. One of the reasons he's looking to leave isn't that he is not in favour, not that he isn't wanted by Liverpool. He's a wanted player. The reason he is looking for a potential move away is to do with his injury record. He believes, and this is what Mr. Leslie that came on the show with us last night said, that, and this has come directly from the agent of the player, that the intensity that Klopp plays at is not really working well with the guy's body. So it isn't that him and Klopp are falling out. It isn't that he doesn't like playing for Klopp. There's a physical element here, which makes sense. So he's looking for a move. But because he's a wanted player by Liverpool don't want to sell him. He isn't kind of like a Lallana or a Lovren that are on the fringes. They can demand more money. Now, if he's valued at about 38 million pounds as a medium sum across all the consultancies, if Nathan Ake has just gone for 87% above his valuation, if Chilwell is being touted out at 60, 70 million, which is almost double his valuation, people thinking that Liverpool can't push Matip's price from 38 million to 50 million are off their heads. Like, they easily could. Now, my point is, if you bring in, say, 45, 50 million for Matip, and you've already got the 11 million that you bought in for Lovren, with the salary that you're saving, you can eat, in my opinion, you already can afford Koulibaly. It would then make sense to go and look for a player like him. And, as the interview we did yesterday spoke about, this deal isn't nearly done. It isn't something that's guaranteed to happen, but it's what Liverpool are trying to orchestrate. It's what Liverpool are trying to get done. I look at this deal here for Mandi at Real Betis. That, for me, is what they will do if they can't get Koulibaly. Because if Liverpool can't get Koulibaly because they can't raise enough money, they will keep Matip and they will sign this guy. I think it's one of those two options. What's your thoughts, Ram?
I'll just say what I said when I DM'd you. I think if we get Matip for the right price, I'm not sure about getting Koulibaly. There have also been talks of Liverpool trying to get Ozan Kabak from Schalke, which he's apparently a very good, promising defender, and they're commanding a fee about 25, 30 million pounds. I feel like the combination of Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk is working, and I think the only way they can get better is them playing with each other. Also, if we do end up getting Kabak, we could also fund for a possible Thiago move with that amount of money. The Thiago deal is only happening if Gini Wijnaldum doesn't want to sign a new deal. So again, that's something. The one thing I'd say, and again, we spoke about this in the interview. We had David Lynch on, Liverpool correspondent, talking about that. All these deals sound very SFG. They don't sound far-fetched. This notion that you sell to buy. So you're only going to bring in Thiago if Gini goes, and you're only going to get Koulibaly in if you get enough money raised from a Lovren and Matip sale. And that all makes sense. You then promote someone like Berg or one of your youngsters to get a bit more game time as cover for Lovren, and they're not going to do any worse than Lovren, and then you have it. But if you do sign Koulibaly, does he start over Joe Gomez in your opinion? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I've watched the previous videos of Koulibaly. I think you put up on the Football Terrace a few days ago of him making a few mistakes and that. To be honest with you, I'm actually mixed now with Koulibaly. I actually don't know what he'll suit his style in the Premier League. So to be honest with you, I think Gomez and Van Dijk already clued. It's just if you put Koulibaly in there ahead of Gomez, what does that do to Gomez's confidence in the future? That's what I worry about.
Because he's only 23 and he's going to be our starter for the next 5 to 8 years. And if he gets this amount of experience, he'll be a top class defender. And the way that Koulibaly defends is very different to what Joe Gomez is, and I don't know if it will fit. He's a very aggressive defender. He would like to attack an attacker. Excuse the pun.
Right.
But where Gomez is a little bit more conservative. He is still a destroyer, but he's a little bit more conservative, and I don't know if that will suit our way of defending.
Ram, you're not signing a £70 million centre back and putting him on the bench.
Well, I don't personally. I don't want Koulibaly to join. I don't. I really don't.
Is that since I exposed him on the Football Terrace as being more calamitous than Maguire?
No. It wasn't that. I've seen him and I was thinking, would he fit our defensive structure? And I'm like, not really, because you have to think. With Lovren. Lovren's really aggressive. He likes to go up against a defender, but obviously Koulibaly's not on the same level as Lovren. Don't get it mistaken.
But Lovren also made Lovren as the past few matches was too emotional. I thought the way he made that mistake against Everton was criminal in my opinion. I think Lovren would have had too many emotions in him, and I don't think any defender coming in will have that in Lovren. So I just think
I get that, but I still think with our defensive structure, do we want someone that overly aggressive to be with that? I'm not sure. If it, like the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You get what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, but also Fergie said when you're at the top, you should try and create an even bigger gap.
Yeah, he did say that. But
yeah,
also,
I think I get the point of not wanting to rock the apple cart, but there's also the element of, again, Liverpool fans don't want to believe this part to be true because you don't want to think you've been exposed. But there's a lot of people, Steve, and I'm really sorry, mate. You're very noisy in the background. I think you're obviously sitting on a chair and you're moving around, and it's noisy. And when I say irritates my ears, it really does. These are very loud and sensitive earphones, and any kind of noise in the background, I feel like a cat. Like
sorry, I'll move somewhere else.
Cheers, mate. I appreciate that. Like when you make a loud noise and you're a cat and they just freak out. That's how it sounds in my ears. I think there's this notion that Liverpool maybe have been found out a little bit. Their style, their formation, their personnel, their run of form for 5 or 6 games before lockdown, and even in the end of the season run wasn't particularly great. Now, there's lots of potential excuses. We already won the league. We took our foot off the gas. Our heads weren't really in it. We were already on the beach. Whatever it may be. We're just a little bit tired. Whatever it is. There is also the notion that maybe some of these players have burnt out in 2.5 years under Klopp. A lot of Liverpool fans have said they're not overly confident about defending their title because they've been at this level for 2.5 years. At some point, a dip's going to come. Maybe Klopp can see that. Maybe Klopp can see it and thinks, do you know what? I do need a couple of really big players. And, Fergie did this on a number of occasions where he moved players out when we were winning. And you thought, but they're one of our best players. And he brought somebody else in. You sometimes need that new blood, that new competition, that kind of new ethos to give everybody else a boost. And on the Joe Gomez situation, if Joe Gomez is good enough, he will make his way into that team. How many times do you see a youngster, barring Chelsea, I've done it to a few, how many times have you seen youngsters not get opportunities at clubs, move elsewhere, and go on to be absolute superstars? It does happen. There is no doubt about it. It does happen. Other than for Chelsea and City that don't have a great pedigree of developing youngsters since they've got their money, it doesn't often happen. They leave, become brilliant elsewhere, and then make everybody look stupid. As an example, and I think with Joe Gomez, if he's going to be good enough, he will make his way into this team because he is only 23 still. And I just think that with Koulibaly and Van Dijk at the back, Liverpool could become even stronger. The one thing that didn't improve, the one thing that got worse this season as opposed to last year, is defensively you weren't as good. You conceded a hell of a lot more goals this year. You opened up a hell of a lot more than you were the previous season. So maybe that's part of the thinking. I know like Liverpool fans like to just be continuously positive, but I do think there could be an element of that thinking. Got a super chat here from Ains Class who says, off-topic question, how is Werner training with Chelsea when RB Leipzig are still in the Champions League?
That's a contract thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but it would have
was
been
agreed.
It was
so-
agreed between the clubs. And that's why, just so people point out, I love the fact that Sanchez is going to get done before Kai Havertz, or it feels like it's going to, because this weird, stupid notion that fake Man United fans like conjured that Chelsea get all their deals done quick, we take ages with them all. It just doesn't work like that. The reason why Havertz and Chelsea are slowed down is because Chelsea don't want Kai Havertz to play in the Europa League, and Bayer Leverkusen want to win the Europa League, and know they can't do it without Kai Havertz. So, and I actually back Bayer Leverkusen on this. It's also a good bargaining tool. Well, if you don't want him to play, you have to pay a little bit more money, which makes sense. Like, honestly, because trust me, Man United wouldn't be in these advanced conversations with Dortmund if Dortmund was still in the Champions League. They just wouldn't be. Like, it's the one thing. The only difference with the Leipzig situation is that Leipzig,
Already qualified.
well, it was supposed to already qualified. It's the fact that there was a buyout clause, and they couldn't stop. And once the player had signed, no way he was going to be mentally in the right shape. You know, the Ziyech situation. I know that you signed him in January. He wouldn't be training with Chelsea now if Ajax were still in. Are they still in or are they out? I swear they're out.
No,
They went out.
they got knocked out by Etafe.
That's it. Yeah. You get my point. So people like need to just understand that this summer is a very different set of situations because of everything that went on sort of globally in relation to that. But so just quick thoughts before we go, gents. Man United closing in on Jadon Sancho. David, what's your head saying about that deal still?
It's a great signing. Like, there's not much more to say. It's just a great signing.
Is it kind of weird that I don't even know how to put this. It feels like a weird deal to me because everybody's reporting on it. It isn't just like Fabrizio Romano is having his comments reiterated. It's just countless credible journalists, one after the other, with very similar stuff. And what I do love is that we got Daniel Harris on here, who isn't getting enough credit from the other journalists. The other journalists are disrespecting him because he broke last week that pretty much half will be paid up front and the remainder in installments, and they were working on the remaining installments to look like. When we had him on and he got interviewed, he got laughed at by a lot of people for saying that. That was only last Thursday. Between now and then, everything he has said has pretty much come to fruition. But there we go. Ram, are you still scared of Man United next year?
Funny.
There we go. So, listen, guys.
Tarek, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
See, if Sancho comes in your opinion, what do you think happens to Greenwood?
He gets better.
Yeah.
He'll just
he'd be happy on. Do you think he'd be happy on the bench though?
Yeah, he will. I mean, I think with Man United, it's this situation of we don't have it'd be a different question if Man United were just, if we were European, if we won the Champions League season before last and the Premier League this year and they were established as an example. He still needs that. For me, the best of those four in the next 2 years will be Greenwood will be better than all the other three in 18 months' time.
I must say it must be so good for every club to look at their young player like Greenwood or like anyone like to see improve and hopefully in the future. I know Liverpool have got someone in Harvey Elliott who's about 17, and we're just hoping that he can come through at the same time. But I think in his opinion, I don't think he's ready yet. But like you said with Greenwood, and then give them time and they'll improve.
Yeah, exactly. And look, United are going to have a front four, and there will be games where we'll play all four of them as well. There'll be games where there'll be multiple games. People keep talking about rotation, and it's important that we don't overplay Bruno, we don't overplay Rashford, Martial, Greenwood. We don't need to. But there are going to be some games where we can get away with saying, you know what, Matic and Pogba are going to play, or Matic or Pogba and McTominay are going to play central midfield, and then we're going to play the front four. And you can get away with that. Like genuinely, you can play like that. You can get away with it. So from my point of view, there's a lot of different ways that we can play. Ollie's style is fluid, and yeah, it's going to be very.
Terry, just some added news on Liverpool. They're apparently looking at a couple of left backs as well, or backup to Andrew Robertson. I think one guy, Arsenal fans will know him very well. It's Tsimikas from Olympiacos, who was one of the main guys that famously knocked them out of the Europa League, and Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth.
We were like Lloyd Kelly last week, I think.
Yeah, and I think Lloyd Kelly would be a decent left back because he could also play centre back as well.
I think he's coming. I think he's coming 22, and I think that'll be a good improvement. Even if they tend to judge him, I don't think he signed for Bournemouth after he left Bristol, but he was injured the whole season, so his record stance at the moment is with Bristol in a good record. So I wouldn't mind giving him a chance because I do think we do need a backup left back because we can't play Milner out there all the time. You know he can do it up there, but I wouldn't mind him ever then too.
Yeah, I mean that's the space that Liverpool are in. It's backup time. Do you get what I mean? It's if you're having like a party, right? You're having a party. You bought the alcohol, you bought the food, but you always pop out the day before, and you're just buying the little knickknacks. You're buying the little nice to haves as opposed to sort of the main elements. That's what you guys are doing. It's the streamers that you're buying and the party poppers and a few little bits and pieces as opposed to anything else. But that makes sense with the position that you were in. I assume all you boys are going to sit back and enjoy the big boys playing in Europe the next few weeks.
We're playing in Europe.
You're already out. You're out, bro. You're out. Chelsea are out.
Lewandowski is going to lay the smacker down on you.
Of course he will. We've got our captain and our best players injured, bro. I don't even think I'm going to watch it.
Oh, how long is Pulisic out for?
I think I'm just going to watch.
It's not confirmed, but I don't think he's going to be back for the start of the season. So currently, it looks like we are Hudson-Odoi will play quite a few minutes next year.
Yeah, no.
I think I'm just going to skip the Chelsea game and watch the Barcelona and Napoli game instead.
Yeah.
There we go. Listen, boys, I appreciate you guys coming on. We'll chat to you soon. Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers, lad. Thank you. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, a big thank you to all of you. Please hit the like button right now. It's really important to us as a platform that you support us in that way. As well as that, please go into our description below and download the Hot Mic app with promo code TFT. Best place in the world for watch-alongs. It really supports the channel. Use my promo code TFT to get that downloaded. And then follow us at the Football Chair. So loads of Champions League games available on there live. Synchronize that with your television. As an example, no adverts, no commercials, nothing like that. It's free of charge. It will never cost you a penny. Be great if you guys could go and download that and support me right now in doing so. But until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.